Hi guys, so I am back with another video because although I didn't get too much feedback, I still got some, so I assume that some people are interested on what I have to say. So yeah, I'm gonna make a video. This video is gonna be on counselling. Just gonna turn this bit. This video is gonna be on counselling, what it's like, basically therapy, what it's like in the UK, all of that. So yeah, I have counselling. I'm going to be discharged from having it in April because they think I've recovered enough, although I do think I still need it, but at the same time I have exams, so it's understandable. But if I do need it, I can be referred back at any time. So yeah. Anyway, so I live in London, I live in the UK, and for people up to the age of 18, the services provided for mental health are called CAHMs, which is, it's kind of in capital letters, it's really weird. It's CAHMs, and it basically stands for Child Adolescent Mental Health Services. So yeah, and it's run by the NHS, so it is free, which is handy. So CAHMs deals with, basically, they're like the step before mental hospital, I guess, I think, or I guess they're kind of the step before like an intensive like psychiatrist or whatever, and then like mental hospital. And I've had mixed reviews. I've mixed reviews myself. But it deals with everything, so it deals with depression, anxiety disorder, self-harm, eating disorders, basically the kind of range of mental illnesses that we find in today's children and adolescents, I guess. So anything that a child can have that's a mental illness, I guess they are able to deal with it, but I'm not sure, because I get counselling there for self-harm, anxiety disorder and depression, so that's what I get it for. Right. I'm just going to run through some of the things that I've picked up on while receiving therapy from CAHMs, and then I will tell you a little bit about my story. So, CAHMs is, the way you get referred to CAHMs is either basically you go to your GP and you get referred, which is the way you do it basically. So you go to your GP and you get referred. If you are over the age of 14, you have the potential to be referred without your parents' consent if your GP says that you are mature enough. But you have to know that your GP might refuse it without parents, refuse to give you counselling without a parent's consent. To receive counselling from CAHMs, there tends to be quite a long waiting list because they do prioritise people who have mental illness that may be in immediate danger. So people who are people with suicide attempts or severe self-harm, severe depression, severe anxiety disorder. So basically the people who have it really badly or have more extreme cases tend to be put at the top of the list. So do expect a longer waiting time because there are a lot of people who want to receive counselling, and two, they do prioritise people. Another thing that you might want to know is if you do receive counselling from CAHMs, you will have a review session, and this review session will be done by a counsellor who works at whatever hospital you're going to, or I guess place you're going to. Now this counsellor could be really, really nice or really, really mean or whatever. So if they're really, really nice, please don't get please don't get disheartened when it turns out that your actual counsellor isn't them, because a lot of the time, and they will tell you this yourself, the person that reviews you is not the person that you will have permanently. That kind of happened to me. But also, if your counsellor, the counsellor that reviews you is kind of shit, then don't get scared that they're going to be your counsellor forever, because most likely they're not going to be your counsellor, they're just the person reviewing you. Okay, so my experience. I have been dependent on therapy to recover for about 3 years now. The first year I had it, it was absolutely shit. My family basically found out about my self-harm in the summer of 2011, and then my mum wanted to get me counselling, so I went to my GP to get referred, and basically I was on the waiting list for a couple of months, and then I finally got counselling in October. So I had it. They asked for counselling in like August, and I got it in October, which may not seem as long as some people. So I did only wait like a month or two, but there are some people that will be waiting for like a good 6 months for counselling. So I was reviewed by a really lovely lady. I was so hoping that somehow she would be my counsellor, but she didn't end up being so. And my first counsellor was shit. She basically made me feel bad for everything, and so I never spoke to her. So no help was given. But luckily I only had her for a couple of months, because then we moved back down to London. Then I didn't have counselling for a good while, and then my mum basically was thinking about getting me counselling in London, but didn't really get round to it because she didn't think that I was still doing it. But I was still self-harming. And then basically something kind of extreme happened, which I'll probably talk about in another video, which then meant that I immediately needed to basically be referred. So next day after I think it was the same day or the next day after what happened, I was then taken to my GP, and I was referred, and then I think within 2 weeks of being referred, I had my first counselling session in London. Then I was reviewed, and I think, funnily enough, the person that did review me happened to say my counsellor. I can't remember, because I guess it does happen sometimes. But this counsellor, who I've had for 2 years now, the one in London, actually turned out to be really, really good. Now, at first I was really reluctant, because I didn't want to recover. I wasn't interested. I hated everything. I was really not a fan of life, and basically just didn't want to recover. But slowly she, worked with me, spoke to me, talked to me through, how I was feeling, made sure, she does this thing which is really useful, where like a counsellor will often, like, if I've relapsed, I'll say I'll relapse, and then she'll kind of be like, slow down. She'll take me bit by bit, and she'll ask me, about my feelings and stuff, but not in an uncomfortable way, but just bit by bit, and she'll take me slowly through it, so she doesn't push any questions on you or anything, which is always nice. So if you don't want to talk about something, you don't have to. They also have a rule of confidentiality at CAHMs, which some shitty counsellors seem to break all the fucking time, but if you've got a good counsellor, which, like me, they stick to the rule, which basically they only have to tell your parents what you're telling them if they think you are in immediate danger. So if you're being sexually abused, physically abused, basically abused in any way, if you basically tell them that you're planning to kill yourself, if you have done grave damage to yourself, so if you've got really bad infected cuts, or you're really sick because you've overdosed or whatever, then they have to tell your parents, basically. Oh, I'm using my computer as a light source for this video. Anyway, so yeah, but my counsellor sticks to that, which is nice, though my first counsellor didn't. I have friends that receive counselling. Some of them go to the same hospital as I do, some of them go to different places, and I think it generally depends on the borough. For different boroughs or different parts of a city, there will be different places that CAHMs is based at, and it's normally a hospital, or at some mental hospitals as well, or mental institutes. And they've had mixed reviews. I've got people who go to the same hospital with me who are counselled by the same sort of staff that I'm counselled by, and some of them say that it's really bad, and then some of them say it's alright, and then for me, I find it pretty good. And I think generally there are mixed reviews, because obviously we're all different people, so we're, you know, help needs to be tailored to different people. Some people are going to not like a counsellor, I think, because a counsellor has one method of helping someone and that method's not working for them. Or it could just be a general disagreement. You might not like your counsellor in general. That happens. Or what's, you know, it might not be working for you. Like with my first counsellor, she tried cognitive behavioural therapy, which is CBT, and it didn't work, basically. It was fun, but it didn't work at all. So I think it has a lot to do with finding a counsellor that is tailored to you in a way. Obviously they're not made for you, but a counsellor that, you know, is kind of on the same level with you, agrees with kind of the same things, and someone you'll generally be able to talk to comfortably. And I have known people to change counsellors, so do not fear. If you feel like after a good little while you're not getting along with your counsellor, please do not fear to change counsellors, because at the end of the day, if you were to change, your counsellor shouldn't take it personally, because it's their job to help you, not for you to sit there and listen to them. So yeah, that's my experience, and I hope some of you found this helpful if you're thinking about going to CAHMs, or you're thinking of getting counselling or therapy. I'm sure there are similar things in different countries, though I'm not sure. So if you live in a completely different country other than the UK, don't go completely on what I've said, because things may be slightly different. But if you're generally looking to get, I guess, treatment or help for any problems such as self-harm, then this video may come in handy. Thank you for watching.